Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David, and it's
Oh.
time to talk about Traitors. Season 3, episode 9, y'all.
I'm fixing
She's
all.
fixing settings. We're live early. Nobody's here yet. Nobody
That's
saw
right.
that.
Yeah, y'all aren't here. I'll cut it out later. Oh, welcome. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And you can support us on patreon.com/Nerdtainment.
Oh, wow.
What is my problem?
We're going early. It's not like we're...
And I'm not mentally prepared for it yet, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
He's off work. We're here.
We're here to
You
talk
guys
about...
aren't even here yet. It's fine.
Yeah. People are trickling in, I see now.
Hi, we're early.
We're
Thank
early.
you for being here.
Yes. I watched this episode with a big group of friends, and my friends were devastated. Carolyn was a huge fan favorite in my friend group, and I think in the Traitors fandom broadly. Could be said.
Yes, it could be said.
I mean, surely a lot of people hated her. There's always both.
Right.
But Carolyn was a star of the season for sure, and all my friends were rooting for her. And I gotta say, I felt like Danielle got her ass.
I mean, yeah, I've been like, look, they're never going to get on to Carolyn, even if Danielle tries.
Yeah.
It's going to take too much work to get to thinking about her. So I can't believe we end this losing Carolyn over Danielle.
I know.
But it's not just Danielle that got her. I think Carolyn kind of got herself.
She got herself.
Yep.
She did.
So let's start at the top. We are
turret.
in the turret.
Remember how we left this?
The night before.
They were like already at each other.
Nope.
It's just Danielle and Carolyn. Sierra has just been murdered, and they have to decide if they're going to recruit someone, which it was like very much like a Pilot Peter the Bachelor recruit. Like you have the option to say yes if you're the recruit.
Right.
So it's a risky decision, but are they going to recruit someone or are they going to murder someone? And they can't agree.
They can't agree, and Carolyn's like, I don't trust you, girl.
Yeah.
Ain't happening.
But what's interesting to me about this whole conversation is that is Carolyn's stance, no matter what Danielle says.
Yep.
Danielle says, I want to recruit. Carolyn says no.
Yep.
Danielle says, okay, what if we murdered this person? No.
No.
What about this person?
No.
What about this person?
No.
No. So at no point did we, well, I think after probably minutes and minutes and minutes, finally, I think Danielle's like, fine, whatever you want to do. I would have done that so much sooner. I would have been like, okay, if it's no to everybody, then what is it, Carolyn?
Yeah.
You don't want to recruit and you don't want to murder anybody. So is that it? We're not murdering anybody?
I mean, it's so tough with the edit because, yeah, don't you think you would just be like, Carolyn,
then
what is your plan here?
Yeah, make her own it.
Yeah. But we're not seeing that, so I don't know if that's actually happening or not, but you have to imagine.
Yeah.
Someone's like, okay, what are you thinking?
What? Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously they are going to murder someone here. We're not going to know about it until we get to breakfast. But Alan does say a murder has, they've decided on murder. So we do know that going into the breakfast.
Okay, right. Because it was I'm remembering the episode where it was like all three of them couldn't agree. And we're like, did they even murder someone? But no, we do see Danielle write it down and seal it with wax. It's still this like, they're both kind of huffing and puffing. Like they just can't get it together.
They can't. And they're so over each other.
Yeah.
So we're at breakfast. I have Gabby is on to Danielle. So apparently we got to sound.
I think, how could you not be? I have been shocked that Danielle has not been part of the conversation for weeks now.
Same.
That after that jar, we keep talking about it, the jar challenge where she's putting other people up for shields instead of herself.
What was that?
I would have brought Danielle up at that round table so fast.
Yeah, and the fact that she's been shaking.
Yes, it's all too much.
It's too much. And I feel like we're not seeing it in the edit, but Sierra?
Uh-huh.
Is that who just went out?
Oh, yeah.
She was like, the shaking, like she was making the list that we've been making.
Yeah.
So it is visible.
Yeah. And remember, Sierra kind of came for Danielle at that round table where, she came for Carolyn and Danielle, which I think was kind of part of her downfall, that she didn't have a focused case for someone other than her. But her argument for Danielle was like, let's remember Jeremy was coming for her and then he got murdered. Which, maybe that got through to Gabby. I don't know. Maybe that's why she's on to her at this breakfast.
if we can have evidence on the show, Traitors, that is evidence.
Yeah.
If someone disappears after saying someone's name, that name is the one you go for.
Yeah.
That's how this game works.
That's a logical decision.
Finally starting to think about Danielle.
Yeah.
It ends up it was Sam.
Which I think is
lifted to the eternal gem. Thank you, Alan. I thought that was a genius line.
Thank you, Alan. Chucking the portrait to the side.
To the eternal gem in the sky.
I honestly thought that was a great choice to murder because Sam was like coming alive and putting things together and like listening apparently the whole game. And then all of a sudden he's this mastermind who's like, if you don't know what Alan's wearing, you're a traitor. These are all the other reasons these people are like Sam was a threat.
Like, yeah, for sure.
So it made total sense for them to murder him. And I think it wasn't so obvious like, oh, Danielle and Carolyn definitely murdered Sam because XYZ.
No.
I think anyone would have murdered Sam at this point because it was like, wait, this guy who hasn't said a word all season is now making logical points? No.
Yeah.
So.
We got in the turret edit that Carolyn said no to Sam, but I don't know if that was accurate or if they just circle back.
Sure.
But obviously you take Sam out. Like, he almost got you, Carolyn.
Yeah.
With, like, what was he wearing?
Right.
Exactly. So, yeah, take Sam out, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, anyway, he's murdered.
He's gone.
And little Dylan.
Yeah, because Dylan's the last one in. It was either Dylan or Sam. Those are the final two. So Dylan wanders in and sees that it's Sam, and I think he's putting together, like, oh, I'm the last one in, which maybe means that I was an option. He's just like...
I think he also knows he should have been an option, right?
Yeah.
He needs to be taken out by now.
So he's like, why am I still here?
Why wouldn't you be murdered at this point? And that is a very good question to ask, Dylan.
I'm glad to see you asking that.
Mm-hmm.
So Dylan's wondering if, for some reason, he's being protected because maybe he's protecting traitors.
Yep. That ding, ding, ding. Right there on the nose there, sir. And he looks like he's sad to realize that he has clearly been working with traitors.
Yeah.
And that they are protecting him. When I'm like, dude, be protected.
He also looked pretty tired to me.
Oh, he might be just tired.
Yeah. And I think, he's probably been up. Did you see that B-roll shot of him holding onto the kettlebells and doing the like leg kicks in the air shirtless? Yeah. I'm like, they are keeping you up too late doing those workout B-roll shots. They also had, of course, the bicep curls with
I only
Sam.
remember Sam, shirtless Sam. That's all I remember.
But Dylan looks like he's been losing some sleep and doing a lot of thinking up at night.
He's been trying to figure out those traitors. Yeah. Worried he'll be murdered when in reality
you're fine.
No, sir, you ain't going.
You're fine.
All right, so let's go to a very fun mission.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't like this mission.
Oh, really?
I liked the think like a traitor and try to guess how the traitors, and I also love the potential strategy that the traitors could put into this to like red herrings and misdirects and yada yada. But this moving chess piece, I was like, this is dumb. Okay. And takes too long.
Okay. I quite enjoyed it. Especially when you bring out queens like Parvati and Kate.
Loved that. But they also, I was like, give them a dossier on these players. It seemed like they were like, seems like they're all working together. Like a producer didn't pull them aside to be like, here's kind of what's happening right now in the game.
I disagree. Okay. I love that they had no idea and still gave us gold. Like, he's giving Pilot Pete vibes.
That was my favorite part.
And I'm like, yes, ladies, they get it.
He's literally that archetype to a T.
That is 100%. And the fact that they were like, oh, Tom Sandoval, when they just showed up.
Yeah. Well, he's the most hated reality star in America.
And he should be.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
Okay.
If they had been produced, we might have gotten, more canned stuff.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed just hearing their like off the cuff stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, it's very interesting to see the traitors answer questions.
Yeah.
They're trying to think like the house.
Yeah.
The group is trying to think like the traitors.
Right. And it's like you can't actually, it's hard, it's not purely think of how the traitors would answer this question. You have to think about how the traitors would answer this question so that it doesn't make it obvious that they are the traitors. Yeah, right? Because that's how Danielle and Carolyn are sort of thinking, like, oh, they think we might say this, so maybe we'll say this.
Yeah.
But, like, I think as traders, you also don't want to misdirect too much because correct answers get money in the pot as much as that matters. So it's a complicated game.
Money cannot matter if you're a trader. You cannot think about the money.
But they're trying to win the pot of money at the end of the game.
But not this game. Not this mission, I mean.
True.
It's too dangerous.
Yeah, it's too dangerous to, like, show your cards. Yeah.
And Dylan's like, well, this one I'm obviously going to just sit back and I'm going to see how other people answer. And I'm like, silly Dylan. The traders aren't going to speak up. That would be career suicide.
And indeed it is. Whoop. But not for Danielle, because Danielle takes a similar sort of like backseat approach.
Yep.
Not so much Carolyn. There's a couple of questions early on where Brittany's the answer. I forget. Was it like the biggest threat to the traders or something? And then Brittany was the answer. It was a couple of Brittany's in a row. I thought it was interesting that they chose to like name the same person for some of the questions.
You kind of have to set up Brittany, and that's fair. And I was impressed that Danielle was willing to do it.
Yeah.
But that hides that she's in the turret.
Yeah, I mean, that's why
smart.
Danielle did it. She's like, I want to say that Brittany's the biggest threat to the traders because Brittany does not seem like a threat to me because it looks like we're together.
Exactly.
So then it suggests that I'm not a traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like as much as we love Carolyn, when we look at this one mission, Danielle's strategy is far above Carolyn's strategy. I think she did not clearly think this through.
Yeah. And I think Carolyn, because of the way that she has handled the Danielle relationship and just sort of conducted herself in the turret, in this flashback footage of how they're making these decisions, when Carolyn offers a decision that is a poor decision, Danielle just lets her do it. Because why would Danielle help you at this point?
Right.
You've been difficult every episode in the turret.
I mean, Danielle's been difficult too.
100%.
They're both difficult.
But Danielle's not making stupid decisions.
No, exactly. That's the problem.
These choices.
For Carolyn. Carolyn's like, here's a bad idea. And Danielle's like, great. Okay. I love it. If you say so.
I'm going to go ahead and make the smart move and say that Brittany's not a threat to me. Mm-hmm. Or Brittany's a big threat so that it doesn't look like it's to me.
What about Tom thinking that he is the answer for everything. Single thing?
He's like, biggest threat in the game? Definitely me. Gotta be me.
Sir, why has he thought that this entire time?
I know.
He thought he was going to be murdered every single night.
Yeah.
And now he's like, you guys, it's me. Oh, who's the threat? It's me.
Mm-hmm.
What?
No.
What?
No. But then wasn't there one where he was the answer? And they were like, couldn't be Tom. And then they said Tom. And he was like, I told you guys. I told you.
But unfortunately, that's the one that Carolyn's like, I think it's Tom. They're all like, it's Dylan.
Yeah.
And Carolyn's like, you know what? What if it were Tom?
What if it's Tom?
Tom's like,
I definitely think it's Tom. And Tom's like, yeah, I agree. And everyone else is like, no, it's Dylan.
They're like, no, it's Dylan.
And then it was Tom.
And then...
So it's like, why would Carolyn be fighting so hard for Tom?
I was about to say Dorinda. It's not Dorinda. It's Dolores. Yeah. Dolores is like, yeah, Carolyn just told us it was going to be Tom.
Yeah.
And Carolyn's like...
What? Me? Who?
I literally never
And Dolores literally is like, girl, relax. It's not like I'm calling you a traitor.
Oh, but you are.
And she is.
And she is.
But really the biggest one was when it was like, who's the voice that's not listened to the most? And Carolyn has chosen to answer herself in the flashback. Danielle gladly lets her because Danielle's like, that is a ridiculous answer and you're going to sink your own ship. And sure enough, Carolyn is fighting for herself. She's like, no, guys, nobody listens to me. And everyone's like, Carolyn, actually, we do. Like, we've been championing you this whole game.
If anything, I hope that Carolyn leaves this game seeing that people actually do listen to her.
Yeah.
This is her downfall.
Yeah.
Is that she's so in an imaginary place in her head.
Yes.
Which probably is rooted in some
her past.
Trauma from her past.
Yes.
But she's literally in a game where people like her.
Yep.
Want to work with her.
Listen to her.
Listen to her.
Yeah.
And she is telling them no one listens to her.
You know what it is? She's transferring her trauma from the turret into the rest of the game. Because in the turret, yeah, they weren't listening to her.
They were not.
Rob and Danielle have been dismissive of her for weeks. But in the Faithfuls, listen to her, believe in her.
Yeah.
When she says something, they're like, because the Faithfuls believe that she is a faithful.
Yes.
So they're like, well, whatever Carolyn says is probably true because we're convinced she's a faithful. So she's actually been incredibly influential within the Faithfuls, which is how Cirie went on to win the game. So Carolyn was so well positioned. But for her to take what she's feeling in the turret and try to like make that feel like a thing outside of the turret doesn't compute with everybody.
Nope.
Nobody wants to say her.
Nope. They don't agree with this answer. She fights with it. She becomes the answer, and then it is the answer.
And so then they're like, huh.
Oh, that was the biggest giveaway.
None of us
would have voted for
said
you.
that you were the voice that's least listened to. So, and you're the one who's insisting that you were the answer.
And you made the
answers.
You
must have said that.
Yeah. Wow. I could not believe what I was watching at that point.
It was shocking. And Danielle was like...
She was like, thank you. I will take this to the round table later.
Danielle's literally like, I'm going to file that away.
Yeah.
In my portfolio.
She's like, I knew this was going to happen, and here we are.
She's like, let me take that receipt and put it in my receipt file.
Oh, my gosh.
Because Danielle says she has the receipts to come for Carolyn in this round table.
And she does.
As she should.
Yeah.
Because I said going into this episode, Danielle has got to be the next one to go. Like, this is a joke at this point.
It would be Danielle or maybe Brittany.
Maybe Brittany.
But
maybe she could misdirect. But, like, come on. Danielle is so obviously a traitor at this point. So I think she knows that the time is right for her to really... I mean, she's come for Carolyn before. They've had their little thing. But, like, at that previous round table, it was really just them coming for each other and nobody else really got brought into that. This time... it's all them at the round table. And it is a big, dramatic farewell for Carolyn.
Yeah.
And they're giving her a moment, you know?
Yeah. So, after the mission, obviously, we're going to come back to the castle, and it is just an edit of Carolyn versus Danielle. Mm-hmm. Carolyn has... the straight, like, go ahead, I definitely am coming for Danielle.
Yeah.
Danielle obviously wants to come for Carolyn, even though they tried to edit it like she just heard Carolyn was coming for her, so she's going to do this Danielle. What?
Yeah. I loved, though, Danielle. She's talking to Iva, which I don't even know why anybody bothers.
Why?
But she's like, Iva, you ever seen Detective Columbo? And he's like, no, I don't believe I'm familiar. And she's like, oh, well, Columbo's like a bumbling idiot who then is actually really smart and is kind of the one, if you know what I'm saying. And he's like, I'm not sure that I do.
Wait, I think he did. Okay? Yeah, you're doing a beautiful job. I think he did know Columbo.
But he wasn't connecting the dots.
But he was not connecting. He was
like Danielle was like, let me spell it out.
Columbo, hilarious detective who looks like an
starts
idiot.
with a C. Carolyn starts with a C. And she's basically like, remember that. Okay? Because I'm going to bring that up later.
He was like, someone we never would think was smart enough to be...
He's like, but Sam's gone.
Who's the Columbo in... Oh my God, it was so hard just watching his brain. Like,
I know.
Steam coming
if this
out.
is a strategy on his part, I'm like, you are a genius.
No.
Because I am totally buying that you have no idea what's going on.
He has no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. But Dylan is... Here, okay. So I was like, look, even if Carolyn starts to tank her game...
Yeah.
We've had... weeks of Danielle taking her game. It is just an easier jump for me to say, Danielle's obviously a traitor. If I start to see hints that Carolyn is a traitor,
I'd be like, I need a little more time.
Yeah, it's going to take me a minute to like work on that thought, because for all of this time, I was like, never. She'd never be a traitor.
No.
So the fact that the wheels are turning so fast right now that Carolyn is potentially a traitor and Dylan's like, oh my God, these are my two girls. What am I going to do? It's one of them?
Yeah.
I was like, how did we get here?
Yeah. We go to the round table And
I was already worried about this round table because we know Danielle can bring game and strategy and receipts.
As messy as she has been, let's not forget that she is a legend, okay? So she has good gameplay in her, and I would say that this is her first and only good game move of the season.
Yeah.
But I think she really handles herself well in this.
100%.
She's not beating the allegations that she is a traitor. They are still going to wonder.
Yeah.
But she did a really good job, I think, in getting Carolyn banished before her. That is a feat.
Absolutely.
She should have been banished at this round table.
Yes. And for all of that weeks of being an obvious traitor. The fact that she could manipulate, I don't know. To take this moment where Carolyn shows her first sign of weakness and for Danielle to be able to pounce. 100%.
It was really sort of Boston Rob level. Like, this is the first time that this person is really going to be meaningfully accused at a round table, and I'm going to make sure they go.
Yes.
And I mean, it's very clear, like you said, that this round table is going to come down to Dylan's decision, because he's kind of been like between Carolyn and Danielle. And then when the whole round table, like, I'm just not shocked at all that Dylan was like the final vote of the round table.
Right.
Because it just seemed like it was all going to come down to him, and he's been so close to both of them. But Carolyn's MO is to rely on this narrative of nobody's taken me seriously my whole life, and she's just appealing to people's emotions. And it does seem to, like, you see people with tears in their eyes, like they are upset that they are going to vote for her.
Yeah.
They're like, you are not swaying me.
Yeah.
But if you're a faithful, I really am going to lose sleep over that.
Yeah. Because I do think they care about her and they have built those relationships with her. But unfortunately, Carolyn is only going to respond emotionally, right? Carolyn, it doesn't seem like, actually has any sort of case on why Danielle would be a traitor.
Which is ridiculous.
Which you need. And other than she's like, she did make up this lie, which is fair, except that Danielle's like, I never did make up the slide. That's true.
I didn't. Right. Brittany comes up again. Yeah. And Carolyn's like, you lied. I never came for Brittany. And Danielle can't explain why that's true. But she can confidently sit there and say, no, that was true.
No, that was true. I did not lie.
And there is not a flash of I'm lying across her face, because she is telling the truth.
And Carolyn is just emotional because she's an emotional person. So I think people do feel for her. Those are not, fake tears like Danielle's been giving us plenty of fake tears.
Yes.
But, so I think everyone does have this feeling of like, you're pulling at my heart, but I kind of feel like you might be a traitor at this point.
Because Danielle, I mean, she lays out the Columbo thing again, and she's like, everybody, here's who Detective Columbo was, and somebody in this game has been fumbling through, trying to make us believe that they don't know what's going on, and they're not running the game, and they're not making decisions, and that is Carolyn. And by the way, remember what happened at the chessboard today, where she was so insistent that she's the voice that no one listens to, and then it was her? I mean, it was very convincing, and like the mood shifted in my viewing party, and people were like, oh my God. And I mean, I loved Carolyn too. I would have loved to see her go to the end, but I kind of was like, I respect Danielle in this moment. This is impressive.
Yeah. Danielle was able to see how this mission was gonna go down and work that to her advantage. Absolutely. I also was disappointed that Carolyn bumbled. I think Carolyn made some mistakes, and I think Carolyn realized that afterwards. Yeah. So, like, I still think Danielle has looked like a traitor for a really long time,
100%, and they know.
There is a reason that people haven't voted her out yet. So that is credit to Danielle's game. So ultimately,
I mean, yes, and
here
like,
we are.
What Danielle has now is that she is the longest lasting traitor. Yeah. This season.
She got out. Well, she outlasted Rob, which was her nightmare.
Yeah.
She finally got Carolyn out. Yeah. And ultimately, she's doing all this because she wants to bring in her bestie. But hold on. We got to do this round table.
Oh, yeah.
Because first off, Carolyn's like, Columbo, what the hell are you talking about?
She's like, who is that?
I'll have to Google that later.
Yeah.
But then what the hell is Tom and Dolores doing?
Oh, my God. We were literally like, come on. Like, Vote for someone real. This is a moment. You literally have the two traitors.
In the world are you two living in your own world over here? Tom cannot drop it.
It was annoying.
So annoying.
You're distracting and you're not clocked into the game. Like, stop with your little petty feud between the two of you and vote for a real traitor. Like,
no, they couldn't handle it. But the rest of the people are going to mostly vote for Carolyn here. She is going to get the votes.
I think there were a couple Danielle votes.
Yes, there were.
Was it Gabby who voted for Danielle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
Gabby.
Obviously Carolyn did. But
I think that was it.
I think there were like 4. I think Ivor voted for Carolyn.
Yeah.
Dylan definitely voted for Carolyn.
I was like, oh, if you've got Ivor, then...
I think it was either going to be... Dylan was either going to make it a tie between Carolyn and Danielle, or Carolyn was going to go. So it ended up being 4-2. Like 4 for Carolyn and 2 for Danielle. So it was... I mean, I loved that Carolyn went for it. Mm-hmm. She went down lying to your faces and emotionally manipulating you. Yeah, that's the level of commitment to lying in this game that I want to see as a viewer. Yeah. I want nothing to be off the table. I want you to swear on your grandmother's grave that you are not a traitor. And that was manipulative to say, you all are doing to me again what's happened to me and guilting them into keeping her. I'm like, go for it, girl. I don't think it was the most effective case to make.
Carolyn believes all of that when it's like, that's not what's been happening. I don't know.
Also, you are literally a traitor.
But also you're a traitor.
They're just voting for the truth.
She gets up there and she's like, turns out it's not fun being a traitor.
I came here to have fun, but this was not fun at all. And I hate you, Danielle. She doesn't say that, but it's in the subtext.
So Carolyn is gone. I'm shocked, but here we are. And then Danielle's performance needs to be shot and put out to pasture. That was the worst thing I have ever seen in my life.
She looks like she just saw the ghost of like her dead mother or something.
Yeah, she looks like she's at a funeral and her child just died. She's like, oh.
It's always too much.
It's too much, Danielle. Are you kidding me?
But we were like instant meme, that thing.
Yeah.
Like, that needs to be gift, whatever, to
all you did was get a traitor out, right? So if you just got a traitor out, you wouldn't be losing your mind like that.
All right, y'all.
Yeah.
I said what I said. I helped you get her out. Like, you better listen to me, you know?
The fact that it was so dramatic and so personal, I think, is a clear giveaway that you are another traitor.
Well, Gabby agrees.
Yes, thank you.
Gabby goes and she's like, okay, Danielle's not here. Is it just me or was that giving Bob and Rob?
Right?
That was traitor on traitor behavior, y'all.
100%. How could you not? And like reaction shots as we were just like, Carolyn, Darren, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The reaction shots are like, what? Because that was way too personal, way too dramatic and emotionally charged. There is more going on there.
Right.
Obviously that is traitor on traitor crime.
Yeah. So Gabby's onto it. Danielle's doomed, but now Danielle has to recruit because she's the only traitor left.
It honestly looked like Brittany, like, she heard that.
Heard what?
When Gabby was like, y'all, that was right. That's giving Bob and Rob. And Brittany's face, like, unless they just found that shot, but Brittany's face, like, turned. She was like,
well,
is what that was giving.
Here's the benefit of Brittany hearing that, is that she's the recruit.
Of course she is.
Of course. So Brittany can take that to Danielle and say, Gabby's onto you. And here's what Gabby was saying. Mm-hmm. Gabby is championing this theory, which is the truth, that you are a traitor and you are getting another traitor out. So what do we do now?
Well, okay, so obviously we're recruiting. We already know that Danielle wants to recruit Brittany, but Alan is like, you go for it. Brittany's going to get the letter. Brittany's like, I'm pretty sure it's Danielle I'm about to see.
Yeah, we don't see them actually meet.
Yeah.
We'll see them meet in the next episode, but it is the like ultimatum, right? So well, Brittany, I guess, could say like,
no, but then she's murdered. She's not going to do that. She's a gamer.
But it's like a choice. But
if you don't accept it, you're going to get murdered. But then they will murder together if she accepts it.
Yeah.
So they're going to clearly do Gabby, and they should.
Oh, I'm so sad.
like, who else?
I love Gabby. I just wonder if they're. Yeah, you're right.
Who else? I mean, I think Dylan.
But I don't necessarily think. murdering Gabby is gonna... I just wonder what the case is if they murder Gabby. Because what everybody would take away from that is like, well, Gabby was saying that Danielle was a traitor and now she's murdered.
Will they? Will they do that, actually? You're leaving not bright people left, right? Tom is like stuck on Dolores. He's safe to not murder. Yeah. Ivar does not know what is going on. He's safe to not murder. Mm-hmm. So you just have Dolores, Gabby, and Dylan.
Well, what I would do if I were Danielle, because she's screwed. So I think the only play in my mind is recruit Brittany, murder someone that Brittany would murder, and then frame Brittany as a traitor and push her in front of the train in front of you again. That, to me, is the only way Danielle can keep making it through the game, is if she keeps pushing other traitors in front of the train that is coming for her.
100%, and it goes the other way. Brittany has to accept, even though she says this is a dangerous time to come in at the end here.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't want to get murdered. She accepts. She has to do the same thing.
100%.
You guys, you're right. It was so dramatic last night. That was traitor on traitor crime for sure.
Yeah.
It's got to be Danielle. They have to take each other out.
She can't. Brittany cannot align with Danielle. No. Because they're going to be like, well, clearly you got recruited. So regardless of the fact that Brittany is going to accept a position as a traitor and go into the turret, she has to come for Danielle for her own game.
I think so. I think they both do. So, yeah. I mean, can they do Gabby? They've just got a woman traitor out. Is that enough?
No, because they all know it's Danielle.
Well, I think they all know it's Danielle, right? Y'all should know it's Danielle. Yeah. So it doesn't matter who they murder.
Yeah.
Dolores, Gabby, Dylan. Dylan's the only guy worth murdering.
Yeah.
Sam and Tom and Ivar are such wastes. Even though you guys know I've wanted Tom out this whole show.
I know. I do believe he will be in the finale, though.
But yeah.
I believe that in my heart.
He's literally wants Dolores banished.
I know. He's not. He's very unserious. Oh. So yeah, this would be, I guess, I've enjoyed this season.
Yeah.
But this is kind of my gripe with the way the game has played out, is that we are at this point where the only move for the traitors is to come for each other. And that's not the point of the game.
Is it?
The faithfuls are supposed to come for the traitors, and the traitors are supposed to, like, eliminate the faithfuls.
I don't know, this whole season.
I think that kind of broke the game, to be honest. But they had to do it. It's just a really tough... It's tough to adapt this game for TV. We've talked about it before.
Right.
If you're playing this game at a party, you find the mafia, game's over.
Game's over.
But they can't allow that to happen.
No.
So now, I actually think it behooves the traitors to just come after each other all the time.
Yeah.
And then hopefully your recruit, like the dream would be to start as a faithful and get recruited super late in the game and then fly under the radar because you're such a late recruit and then snatch the prize pot at the end of the show.
I would think. I was shocked Brittany was like, this isn't the time to be recruited. I'd be like, yes,
actually, it's a pretty great time.
Either ride Danielle's coattails.
Yeah.
Except that Danielle is in the spotlight, so go ahead and get her out.
Yeah.
Don't fight that.
Yep.
Let her go and you take the money because, I mean, people are thinking it's you, but... maybe you can get away with it if Danielle is outed as a traitor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is definitely taken a turn because it is weird. Honestly, if Danielle's out and Brittany's the last traitor standing, like that's weird.
It's very weird.
Right?
And now it feels like not the season to be introducing the seer twist.
Oh, what is the seer twist?
Well, you know what the seer is.
Do I?
Well, so the seer is they get the power to ask what someone's role is in the game and have that confirmed to them. So they could pull Gabby and confirm that she's a faithful, or pull Danielle and confirm that she's a traitor. I'm like, we don't need that power this time. It is so obvious who the traitor is. Like,
so if it's obvious it's Danielle and I say, are you a traitor? You have to say yes to me?
She has to say yes. Well, and from what I've seen, because I've seen like a YouTube clip of it happening in the UK version, and it's like the two of them, like in a room, the person who's being confronted, like walks in, the seer is like sitting there, and they sit down and they like have a little conversation, and the person is like, I think you probably understand why I am asking you this question about your role in the game, and I've really trusted you. Like, I could see it being really dramatic with like Dylan being the seer and then asking Danielle. And then that moment where he realizes, and she's like, I'm so sorry that I've had to lie to you the whole time. And he then has that information, but I don't think he can say he's the seer. I'm not exactly sure the mechanics of it.
Right.
But I'm like, it feels really unnecessary.
So, do you think that someone will win the seer at a mission? Like, is that how we think it'll go down? I think what I had heard is that, like, there was something in the UK version about whoever, maybe there was a challenge where players would sort of individually win money for the prize pool, and whoever earned the most money would then become the seer. But if that's public knowledge, then everybody knows who the seer is. So I don't know how it's going to work, because I feel like you do kind of want the seer to be a secret. Was it? I thought it was Brittany who was like, you never know, the twist could be that someone could ask it. Was it Dylan?
Interesting.
Someone said it, but obviously it's someone who knows the game Mafia, because that
that is a role in Mafia.
Does exist in Mafia, so they're just taking something from the game. What would be amazing and not a waste to this season is if Tom wins the seer and he sits down with Dolores.
Please, God. Please, God.
That is entertainment. And
that
Dolores is going to be like, no, you dipshit.
Yeah.
And then nothing has changed in the game whatsoever. That would be fantastic.
What would be interesting, too, is if, I don't know if they, like, what if a traitor wins whatever sort of competition is to become the seer?
Okay, so obviously you want that.
That would be great.
You, like, really need to want that.
Like, Danielle needs to win the power of the seer.
And if it looks like she's working really hard to get it, maybe that helps out her. But everyone's going to try to get it, right? Yeah. Dylan's going to really want to get it.
For sure.
Because then he could sit down with his bestie, Danielle.
Yeah.
Amazing. Can't wait. Love it.
Only 2 more weeks left.
Okay.
This Thursday's episode and then the double finale.
Oh my, well,
so,
it feels like the end game. We got to get there.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you everyone who joined us early. Appreciate y'all being in the chat.
Yes, and if you're joining us later, please do leave a comment. I actually have quite enjoyed reading your comments this season, but let us know how you feel about Carolyn getting banished, the recruitment of Brittany, and what is the path forward for the Traitors? Do they just have to, like, eat each other for the rest of the game? Is the season going to have
an ending that we're all just like, what?
I think so.
Like, how can we have a great ending?
How can we have a great ending?
What is the great ending?
Please architect the great ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else is coming up?
Because we are going to do our Traitors recap on Friday this week.
This week is very different.
Yes.
Yes, because we've got our Survivor premiere Wednesday. We will be live directly after that episode. Then on Friday, we will have our Traitors recap. That is different. And then Sunday, we have our amazing race draft.
Yes.
With Ricky and Cesar joining us for that. This past Sunday, yesterday, we had our Survivor draft. We have a lot going on. Make sure you catch up on any of that. And stay tuned. Have your little bell notifications happening so you don't miss our coming up stuff.
Yes. Lots to come. So we will see you guys for the next one.
All right. Bye.
Bye.